What's going on, everybody? It's Tas here. So there's a lot of craziness going on right now. We have Bitcoin, Elon Musk, we have Tesla not accepting Bitcoin, Dogecoin to the moon, right? We have Dogecoin potentially being that next crypto that obviously Elon's targeting, but maybe Tesla accepts in the future. Markets have been selling off across the board, so I want to break down what's been going on, my thoughts on the matter, and how cryptocurrency and the stock market, very briefly here, I want to talk about how they are correlated. So sit back, relax, take a sip of your coffee, and let's get right into the video. So if you all remember, about a month and a half ago, I made a video as to why April was likely going to be a good month, considering historically April and July, those are the two best months in the stock market, right? And lo and behold, we had a great April, and then in the middle of April, that is when the crypto market started to get a bit rocky. We'll take a look at the Bitcoin chart here in a second, but as the S&P crept through April, it started to get rocky as well. You know, April ended, we had that last push to all-time highs about 10 days ago, 12 days ago, when we hit 423, and it's just been a cliff dive ever since then, right? S&P went from 423 to 402. It snapped back to 417 last week on Friday. Now we're at 414. Who knows? It looks like this is a lower high. We could be pushing down to test those lows from last week. So that's kind of what's been going on as of late. It looks like that April month didn't last too long, and the saying that goes, sell in May and go away, or something like that, well, it's panning out right now at least, right, guys? QQQ is the NASDAQ 100 heavy index. This one, or rather the ETF, this one is also selling off quite drastically ever since the middle of April. Ever since the middle towards the end of April, this has been taking a hit. And again, we'll take a look at the crypto chart here, the Bitcoin one actually, which is very interesting, the correlation we see here. The fact that we saw Bitcoin take a hit before the stock market actually sold off. So we'll talk about that here in a second. But overall, you can see QQQ, this is down as of now about 6% from that all-time high that was hit in the end of April. So we see what's going on, or at least what's been going on in the stock market as of now. So let's pull up the Bitcoin chart and talk about what's going on there. Elon Musk, Doge, what happened recently that caused the extended sell-off here, and my thoughts. Alrighty, guys, so here we have the Bitcoin chart. Today, Bitcoin is down $3,000, currently sitting down about 7%. And follow me here, right? This is the price action the past couple of weeks. Really, it's been what? The past week. It really hasn't been the past couple of weeks. The past week, it took a cliff dive from 60,000 to 43,000 ever since May 10th to about now, May 17th, right? That week we're talking about. And that's a big drop. We're talking about 25, maybe even more than 25% of a drop there. And notice what happened in the middle of April, right? That wasn't the big drop. Well, that is a big drop still, but we saw another drop before that, more towards the beginning to the middle of April. And this is, again, like I said, before we saw the big drop in QQQ. And of course, SPY, which ended up dropping in May. That lasted a bit longer than QQQ. But QQQ, the tech-oriented names, they got hit literally right after, right? Bitcoin started to get hit. You can see here, Bitcoin on April 14th exactly, it was at 64,500 per coin, and on the 25th of April, just 11 days later, it hit 47.6. So in that 11-day span from April 14th to the 25th of April, Bitcoin dropped nearly roughly $18,000 a coin. And that is what actually started this big downwards move that we've been seeing really over the past month. It was that big drop. And yeah, again, you notice how the markets fell, the stock markets fell at the same time. We see the correlation there, right? If anything, people were dumping out, and we're talking the big smart money, let's say, the institutions, the hedge funds, and so forth. They were probably dumping out of Bitcoin here, which triggered this sell-off. They were likely selling out of the stock market as well. We saw a lot of these high growth names. They got hit very hard, really ever since February, but a lot of the selling accelerated ever since the middle towards the end of April for a lot of these names. And the thing that worries me about Bitcoin is we took the low out recently. I mean, now, literally now, we're in the mid 43s. We just took the low out from the mid to high 47,000s, which was hit in the end of April. So it looks like the downtrend in Bitcoin, at least on this 3-month chart, is intact. And if we pull up the 6-month chart, you guys can see we're just in an overall, consolidation range with 43.4 acting as support, and we have resistance more in the mid to high, or rather low to high, or low to mid, rather 60,000s. So this is going to be a big test on Bitcoin, right? As of now, we're at the low point from back in the end of February. So if we break 43.3, expect a move maybe down to 39, maybe 38,000 on Bitcoin. And I wouldn't be surprised, quite frankly, if that were to happen, judging on the technicals right now. And we could end up maybe picking up some Bitcoin there. And this all started pretty much the sharp sell-off the past couple of days. It really started ever since Elon tweeted that Tesla wasn't going to be accepting Bitcoin for their cars. He claimed that the environmental impact that Bitcoin mining cause is far too detrimental for, obviously, the environment, and he didn't want to accept it for Tesla. And a lot of people, myself included, were a bit skeptical about that. That's a bit fishy. I mean, come on, Elon knew this before he originally bought Bitcoin. It's not like he just had an epiphany and he's like, oh yeah, Bitcoin does this for mining. It's not like he didn't know. I mean, come on, guys. So I think there's an ulterior motive here in terms of Elon not accepting Bitcoin, whether it's the EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency. Maybe he wants to go into a different currency like Dogecoin, right? And we'll talk about that now in a second. You guys can see here this tweet he ended up tweeting a couple days ago. And mind you, this is after he said that Tesla won't be accepting Bitcoin as payment. He tweeted that, quote unquote, "We're working with Doge developers to improve system transaction efficiency, potentially promising." And when he said this, Bitcoin dropped. There was a lot of volatility during this time period, and we saw Dogecoin. This is actually a screenshot from TradingView, which was that platform that I was looking at in terms of Bitcoin's chart. Check this out. This is crazy. The market cap of Dogecoin spiked $10 billion after this tweet, and you guys can see that big move that Dogecoin made after that tweet, and rightfully so, because he's hinting towards maybe Tesla's going to accept Dogecoin as payment. Hey, maybe he'll do that, and yeah, he probably will do that. I think he will end up doing that ultimately. And another thing that was a slap in the Bitcoiners' face and scared the community, I'd say, causing the stock to go down. Well, this guy, Mr. Whale, at Crypto Whale on Twitter, he said Bitcoiners are going to slap themselves. Well, I didn't even realize he said slap themselves. I just said that. Maybe my subconscious knew that. But anyway, he's going to slap themselves, or Bitcoiners are going to slap themselves next quarter when they find out Tesla dumped the rest of their Bitcoin holdings. With the amount of hate Elon Musk is getting, I wouldn't blame him, ... And he's getting all this hate because they're not accepting Bitcoin anymore, Tesla that is, and that's causing a lot of controversy in the community, and it goes a lot deeper than that, guys, and of course, we're not going to cover that now, but overall, that is what's causing a lot of a stir here in the community. Elon Musk in general, we know he is an outspoken guy, he's pretty crazy, and his Twitter is a must follow. I mean, you got to follow this guy, and he replied to this tweet for Mr. Whale saying, "Indeed," meaning, hey, we might have sold some Bitcoin. Maybe we sold all of our Bitcoin. Maybe we're out of Bitcoin. You know, that is what that tweet started to, those are the ideas that were sparked into people's minds. And then he tweeted later in the day that to clear things up, he said, we're not selling any Bitcoin or something like that. And we'll see in a couple months. We'll see what ended up happening. We know for sure they did sell Bitcoin recently. I believe this previous quarter, they sold $101 million worth of Bitcoin. It was roughly, I believe, 10-15% of their position. So they did sell a little bit, locked in some profits there, and we saw the correlation. I mean, as of late and overall, if you pull up the S&P chart and Bitcoin, I mean, whenever we see a big drop in the S&P, Bitcoin does worse. It drops. So they are correlated at the end of the day, but Bitcoin outperforms on the upside, right? That's the thing. And that is why it's a very volatile, more high-risk asset, but it does, let's be honest, have higher potential of return. So look, guys, at this point, I think there's a lot of FUD in the crypto market, especially in the crypto market. Maybe not so much in the stock market, although you can argue there's always FUD in the stock market. But as of now, there's a lot in the crypto market, and we saw Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin's at 43.3 as of now. If it breaks that level, like I said, this sell-off could go even lower. And I've mentioned a couple of weeks ago, I've been buying Bitcoin, right? You guys know that. Well, not as of late. I bought in May last year. It was 9,000, and I've averaged up since then. And I've told you all, where would I buy more since I got in pretty low and I made a decent amount on the way up? Where would I add more to my position? Well, it would be in the 30,000s, maybe 35, maybe high 30,000s, maybe low 30,000s. We'll see. But this is where I'm considering adding more Bitcoin, as if it does get to 30,000, that's going to be a 50+% retracement from the top. And that is pretty attractive to me if we're looking long term here, as more of, I don't want to say it's super speculative, but it is a little bit more high risk of an investment, at least in my eyes, Bitcoin that is. So I want to be strategic with my buys, and I don't want to put too much money into it where it's overwhelming in terms of my overall portfolio, right? So we're going to wrap it up there, guys. I hope you all enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to smash that like button. Consider subscribing. Also, check out my Patreon down below if you guys want real-time buy and sell alerts, call-outs, morning update videos, more access to me, and we talk about trades I'm making, options, plays I'm looking at. That's all on Patreon, link down below, or you guys can go to patreon.com/DasSurFest, and you could also get 2 free stocks from WeBull. Those are linked down below. They're valued up to $1,600. Simply deposit $100 and you get those 2 free stocks. So I'll see you all later. Thanks for tuning in again. As always, keep crushing the markets. Stay safe out there, guys. Peace out.